So Jordan, let's get it. Top 5 defensive ends in Clemson all time. Who you got? Who's the first name that comes to mind?
I I, I think the majority of people will agree with this one. There probably might be some dissenting, but honestly, when I think of Clemson defensive ends, the first name that comes to mind is Vic Beasley.
Yeah.
He's probably just the best pass rusher I've ever seen play at Clemson. Just regardless of position, like he was special. Still holds a ton of the Clemson sack records. Like he just
All-American, all
all
ACC,
American,
defensive
all of
player
that.
of the year in the ACC. Yeah, he's got it all, man.
It's got to be Vic Beasley.
And just a pure pass rusher standpoint, like, I mean, the dude was a terror. He was an absolute terror.
Monster. And so I think I think that has to be the pick. Like I feel like if we're like being honest with ourselves, like I can't think of anybody else that really just had the career over his entire career was just that dude. Like Vic Beasley was that dude.
And when you pass people in Clemson record books, when you pass names like Michael Dean Perry and Gaines Adams, that puts you in pretty rarefied air when it comes to Clemson football, in my opinion. So, yeah, absolutely. I think Vic Beasley, without a doubt, is in everybody's top 5, or he definitely should be. So, yeah, 1,000% agree with that. One of the first names that comes to mind for me is a guy I just mentioned, Gaines Adams. He played from 2003 to 2006. Played under Tommy Bowden, but just, I mean, like you said, when we just talked about how Vic Beasley's such a legend because he passed, Gaines Adams in the record books for a couple of things, and he's a guy that you can't talk about the defensive end position at Clemson without mentioning a guy like Gaines Adams. Rest in peace to him, but one of the Clemson greats for sure, without a doubt.
Great pick. Another just obvious. Like if you don't have Vic Beasley or Gaines Adams in your top 5, like that,
right?
What are you doing?
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Another name that I think we talked about during our kind of our Clemson. What did we do? Our Mount Rush. It was like a Mount Rushmore of defensive linemen.
Right.
Guy we certainly talked about. And we also talked about during. The top Clemson recruits of all time, none other than Daquan Bowers.
Daquan Bowers, was the top-rated Clemson recruit for the longest time.
Yes, he was.
Until he was supplanted by one Trevor Lawrence. So
yes, he was. I think you have to have Daquan Bowers in there. His career was I think it was backloaded in terms of just kind of the production, the numbers. Of course, his senior season was insane. What did he have? Like 15 and a half sacks his senior year.
Yeah.
He's got to be up there. I think you have to put him in there. One of the best, and I think that kind of bears itself out when you look at just the record books and statistically. Yeah, you got to have him in there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. An All-American, ACC Defensive Player of the Year again. These guys just they have all the accolades, and you mentioned that senior season that was just probably as good as any. Being the top-rated Clemson recruit for the longest time certainly puts you in rarefied air as well. So Daquan Bowers, one of those guys as well. Somebody a little bit more recently than Daquan Bowers. I'm going to go Clelin Ferrell.
Great pick.
This guy, I mean, I think all Clemson fans love Clelin Ferrell. He was kind of that, he was a juice guy. He, part of the quote unquote Power Ranger that were, that big time defensive line group that was there. And when you stand out in a defensive line group that he played with at Clemson, and you're one of the main guys, you're one of the leaders, and maybe his NFL career hasn't panned out quite how we thought it would, but his time at Clemson was absolutely dominant. I mean, that guy coming across the edge, rushing the passer, just, I mean, national champion, great pass rusher, just, gotta be in your top 5, I think, when you're talking about edge rushers at Clemson. Cleveland Farrell is firmly in my top 5 when it comes to Clemson pass rushers.
Yeah, big Clee. Yeah, great dude as well. Just he's got to be up there. And up until this past season, he was your most recent double-digit sack player. So it kind of tells you it's hard to do. And Clemson's been really fortunate over the years to just have some really phenomenal pass rushers. But it says a lot. And when you're the best, you're the sack leader on a national championship team. I mean that says it all right there. First round pick. His NFL career certainly wasn't, and this was true of Beasley and Bowers as well. The NFL careers didn't necessarily pan out, but
right.
I think Clee kind of gets a bad rap because I don't think he should have been drafted 4th overall anyway. I mean, I think
he was drafted way too high.
Yeah,
way too high.
The Raiders just love they love John Gruden loved Clemson players maybe a little too much, like where he would just draft them regardless of whether it made sense and whether they fit or not. Like that.
Yeah, definitely got drafted a little too high, and as everybody knows, when you get drafted that high, you're expected to perform at a certain level. And, maybe he was not put in the greatest situation to perform at that level.
Yeah, but to his credit, like he's been a good player. Like he's with the Commanders now. He carved out a really good role for them. Like he's been a good football, but he just hasn't been a first round, quality, player. Like he's been a productive, capable starter at for a couple different teams now. Like his career hasn't been a failure. There's certainly been worse players, far more disappointing players than Clee. But it just, I felt like he was put in a bad situation. Is what it is. But we as Clemson fans, we remember players for what they did at Clemson, not necessarily
Absolutely.
their NFL careers. So, that just is what it 100%. Is.
I could care less what they do in the NFL. I wish them the best, and I hope that they have great careers in the NFL. But, when we're talking about lists like this, it's all about what they did when they had that pall on the side of their helmet.
Okay, I'm going to go – I'm kind of been going back and forth with these two. I think they're both probably going to get mentioned anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Andre Branch.
I
think you gotta have him up there. Clemson had such great, defensive ends, just especially in that early 2010s era. Like you had some dogs. I mean, Malachi Goodman is a guy I was thinking about too. I don't. He's probably not going to make the list, but like you had really, really strong defensive ends. But I'm going to go with Andre Branch. What is he like? He's 4th. Maybe where is he all time on the sack lead? He's got to be up there.
Yeah, top 5. Yeah,
I think he's probably got to be top 5.
I'd have to look it up. I don't know where he's at, but yeah, that's definitely a good one. That's a good name. All right, I'm gonna go. Let's see. I'm going to go Shaq Lawson.
Great. I was thinking the Shaq Lawson was the other one I was thinking about.
I'm going to go Shaq Lawson. He helped lead that Clemson team to that first not the first national championship, but obviously the first national championship under Dabo Swinney in 2015. He was the anchor of that defensive line that year. He was the guy, an elite pass rusher. Had a pretty successful NFL career. I think he's still playing. Who's he with now? Is he still?
He's not. I know he's not with the Bills anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know if he's still currently in the league. I know he was recently, but regardless, he was an All-American. Like I said, helped lead him to the national title. Got drafted by the Buffalo Bills. I think he's one of those great defensive ends that you got to mention when you're talking about a short list of Clemson's best defensive ends. So
yeah.
yeah, I think we got a good list there. Do we want to kind of try to put them in some sort of order here? Who do we have so far? We have Vic Beasley, we have Daquan Bowers,
Gaines
we
Adams,
got Gaines Adams, we got Shaq Lawson,
Shaq Lawson, Andre
we got
Branch,
Cleveland Farrell,
Leland
and
Farrell.
Andre Branch. So we got 6. So let's try to make our top 5 and who's the first one out. So number 1,
Oh, and we left off Austin Bryant too.
Austin
Oh,
Bryant. Yep.
I kind of
Yeah,
feel.
Austin Bryant should definitely be on a short list.
Yeah, there's too many. There's people are going to get left off, and that sucks.
Yeah,
But
it's inevitable when it comes to this stuff. It's
who knows?
inevitable.
TJ Parker might be on this list this time next year. Who knows?
He might be. Hey, look, he has an avenue to get on that short list for sure.
Yeah,
No doubt about it. But I think our top 2 are probably Vic Beasley and Gaines Adams, right?
yeah.
So who's
I
1
think
and who's 2? Who you got? And then
Oh,
we'll go from there.
I'm gonna go with Vic
Yeah,
but like just because I watched more of him,
right.
I remember more of him, but it feels I would have a lot of trouble. I wouldn't have issue if somebody had Gaines Adams number 1. Like he's
Right.
got.
I think it's a matter of age at this point
Yeah.
when it comes to ranking these 1 or 2. I'm with you. I'm going to go Vic Beasley for the same reasons. I just got to watch his career much more closely, right? Not that I didn't see any of Gaines Adams, but definitely not as nearly as plugged into watching every single snap of every single game like I was when Vic Beasley played. So, yeah, I think Vic Beasley 1, Gaines Adams 2. Who do we got at 3? So who else is on the list? So we got Vic Beasley and Gaines Adams 1 and 2. We got Cleveland Farrell. We got Daquan Bowers. We got Shaq Lawson. Who am I missing? I'm missing
Andre
one.
Branch.
Andre Branch. Who's number 3? Andre Branch, Shaq Lawson, Daquan Bowers, Cleveland Farrell.
I'm gonna go Daquan Bowers.
Daquan Bowers. Yeah.
I think. I think that has to be. I feel like that has to be the top 3. But what do you think?
No, I think Daquan's a clear top 3.
Okay.
I think he is, no doubt. So I feel pretty good about our 1, 2, and 3. Vic Beasley, Gaines Adams, Daquan Bowers. So now's where it gets a little bit more difficult, right? You got Cleveland Farrell, Shaq Lawson, and Andre Branch. One's got to get kicked out of the top 5. One's got to get kicked out of the top 5.
National championship boost tax, whatever you want to call it.
I got to go Cleveland Farrell at 4. Is that who you were going to say?
Yeah. I think you got to go Clee.
Yeah, I think Clee's 4. And then is it Shaq
Lawson or Andre Branch?
Or Andre Branch to round out the top 5. So we got Vic Beasley. We got Gaines Adams, Daquan Bowers, Cleveland Farrell. So we got 1 spot left, and we got Shaq Lawson and Andre Branch. I lean Shaq, but that's just me.
I'm leaning Andre Branch. Let's go Shaq. Let's go with Shaq.
Yeah. I like Shaq there. I like Shaq. No disrespect to Andre Branch, none at all.
Yeah,
But
that
yeah.
hurts. That's tough.
So there you have it. There's our top 5. Vic Beasley 1, Gaines Adams 2, Daquan Bowers 3, Cleveland Farrell 4, Shaq Lawson 5. That's according to me and Jordan. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Who is your top 5? And if it's different from ours, who you taking out and who you putting in? Because, it's always easy to say you disagree, but who you taking out and who you putting in, right? So